Today my topic is Robert Frost poem Home Burial. Let me start about Robert Frost. Actually his full name is Robert Lee Frost. He was born in San Francisco, United States in the year 1874. He has been called the Voice of America because he represents the joys and sorrows of American people, that is, feelings of American people. So he has been called the Voice of America. His poetry celebrates the countryside of New Hampshire. His poems deal with familiar native scenes. He uses simple words come from the plain language of everyday life. 4 times he was honored with Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. He got the honor of reading one of his poems, The Gift, outright during the inauguration ceremony of President John F. Kennedy. We can feel the autobiographical touch in his poems. His poems are like a verse drama. It's in a conversational tone. He chooses to portray diverse scenes from family life. His domestic portraits almost exclusively concentrate on relationship between husband and wife. His poems discussed about the domestic problems and happiness. He is well known for his realistic writings of rural life. The scenery in nature impresses him, no doubt in that, but at the same time, he does not forget the worldly reality which reminds him of duty and discipline. So, work while you work and play while you play is his motto. About his personal life. His daughter Marjorie died of complication from childbirth in 1934. His beloved wife died of heart failure in 1938. And his son Carroll committed suicide in 1940. Despite these losses, Frost continued to work on his poetry and eventually fell in love with his secretary Kay Morrison, who became the primary inspiration of the love poems in A Witness Tree. As a poet, Robert Frost was greatly influenced by the emotions and events of everyday life. About his work. He has published 7 collections. First one is A Boy's Will. It was published in the year 1913. The famous poems like Mobbing, Reluctance are under this title. The next collection is North of Boston. It was published in the year 1914, and the famous poems like Mending Wall, Home Burial, The Death of a Hired Man under this title. And the next collection name is Mountain Interval. It was published in the year 1916. The famous poems like The Road Not Taken, Birches are under this title. The next name is New Hampshire, published in the year 1923. Famous poems like Fire and Ice, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening are under this title. The next collection name is West Running Brook, published in the year 1928. And poems like Once by the Pacific, Acquainted with the Night are under this title. The next collection name is A Witness Tree, published in the year 1942. The last one is Come In and Other Poems, published in the year 1943. Robert Frost's grandfather gave the farmland as a wedding gift. So he spent his lifetime, that is 9 years, he spent in that farmland. And during that period, he has written many poems and enjoyed that rustic life. And this experience he shared in most of his poems. The aim of his poem is begins in delight and ends in wisdom. Okay, now introduction on home burial. Actually, this poem deals with that conflict between the father and mother about the death of their firstborn son. As the poem starts, the mother is looking through the window and she noticed that someone is digging grave for her son. Later she has come to know her husband, that is, the father itself, digs the grave for his own son. She is unable to tolerate the behavior of her husband, so she considered him as a callous and brutal man. This situation alienates her from her husband. It paves the way for the contrariness between the father and mother, that is, husband and wife. Here, analysis of the poem. Here, poem lines. He saw her from the bottom of the stairs before she saw him. She was strutting down, looking back over her shoulder at some fear. She took a doubtful step and then undid it, to raise herself and look again. He spoke, advancing toward her. What is it you see? From up there always, for I want to know. She turned and sank upon her skirts at that, and her face changed from terrified to dull. He said to gain time, What is it you see? Mounting until she cowered under him. I will find out now. You must tell me, dear. She in her place refused him any help. With the least stiffening of her neck and silence, she let him look, sure that he wouldn't see. Blind creature, and awhile he didn't see. But at last he murmured, "Ho," and again, "Ho, what's it? What?" she said. Here the explanation. As the poem opens, the husband is standing at the bottom of the staircase and the wife is standing at the top of the staircase. He is moving towards his wife, but she is getting down against him. This shows that both of them are in extreme ends in their thoughts and actions. While he is standing at the bottom of the staircase, he does not understand what she is looking through the window and why she has suddenly become so distressed. So that husband character could not understand what was happening in that place. Here again poem lines. Just that I see, you don't, she challenged. Tell me what it is. The wonder is, I didn't see at once. I never noticed it from here before. I must be wanted to it. That's the reason the little graveyard where my people are. So small the window frames the whole of it. Not so much larger than a bedroom, is it? There are 3 stones of slate and 1 of marble, and broad-shouldered and little slabs there in the sunlight. On the side hill, we haven't to mind those, but I understand it's not the stones, but the child's mound. Here the explanation. Once he reached beside the window, he said, Just that I see. Through the window, he noticed tombstones of his 3 relatives made up of stones and marbles, and a mound. He utters the word, a child's mound. When he utters the word child's mound, immediately she says, Don't. She cried. So, here, they did not mind the tombstones of the 3 relatives, but now it's their own child's mound. Poem lines. She withdrew, shrinking from beneath his arm that rested on the banister, and slid downstairs. and turned on him with such a daunting look. And he said twice over before he knew himself, "Can't a man speak of his own child he has lost?" Here explanation. She could not tolerate even the word uttered by her husband. And here that husband feels hurt and demands, "Can't a man speak of his own child he has lost?" But she replied that someone can speak about their child's death, but not you, because you are the father of our child. So you could not utter that word, that is the child's mound. So she could not tolerate that. Poem lines. "Oh, where is my hat? Oh, I don't need it. I must get out of here. I must get air. I don't know rightly whether any man can. Amy, don't go to someone else this time. Listen to me. I won't come down the stairs." He sat and fixed his chin between his fists. "There is something I should like to ask you, dear. You don't know how to ask it. Then help me." Here explanation. She prepared to leave and accuses him. No man can speak of a child's death like him. But he requests her not to leave and wants to retain her. "This is not a right time to leave our place, so listen my words," like that husband character said. And here he mentioned, "Amy, don't go. This is not a right time." So here a wife name is Amy. So after this incident, she is looking for her hat and decided herself to leave that home. And later she decided, with hat or without hat, it doesn't matter. And immediately she wants to leave that place because the whole place is full of dirty. It suffocated her, so she wants to get fresh air. So immediately she wants to leave that place. But here the husband character politely requests her not to go, but she doesn't obey his words. At last he said, "Before you leave this house, I would like to ask something." But she replied, "You don't know how to ask it." And immediately he said, "Help me, then. I don't know how to speak of anything so as to please you. I don't know how to please you. I don't know how to convince you. So I am ready to learn from you. So please help me." Like that husband character is requesting his wife. But she found his words are hurtful and he did not know how to please her, and he was willing to learn from her if she would help him. Here poem lines. Her fingers moved the latch for all reply. "My words are nearly always as an offense. I don't know how to speak of anything so as to please you. But I might be taught, I should suppose. I can't say. I see how a man must partly give up being a man with women folk. We could have some arrangement by which I had bind myself to keep hands off. Anything special you are a mind to name. Though I don't like such things fixed, those that love. Two that don't love can't live together without them. But two that can't live together with them." She moved the latch a little. Don't go. Don't carry it to someone else this time. Tell me about it if it's something human. Let me into your grief. I am not so much. Unlike other folks, as you are standing there, apart would make me out. Give me my chance. I do think, though you overdo it a little." Here explanation. He says that it is possible for two individuals who have no love for each other to live together with barriers. When there is love, there should be no barriers. So, he will not use any words which words are hurt her. and he wants to retain her, but she wants to leave him. Such terms and conditions are meaningless when two people love each other. He doesn't like it, but for the sake of his wife, he wants to accept that terms and condition. Such an arrangement may be necessary between those who do not love, but with the two who love, it is an unnecessary burden. He thought that she was overreacting for a little thing. But it's not a little thing for a woman. As a mother, it's not a little thing. But he said, you are overreacting for that little thing. So that is the difference between that father and mother character. And again he says that only those men who give up some of their masculine qualities like quickness of temper can hope to win and please women. He pleads with all sincerity that she confide in him and at least give him a chance to prove his love for her. And he wants her to gain strength from his love and also the capacity to bear the grief of the death of their firstborn. He is simply shocked and surprised that a wife could behave so bluntly and rudely towards her own husband. Here he considered her as a brutal woman. Here again poem lines. What was it brought you up of think it, the thing, to take your mother-loss of your first child so inconsolably in the face of love? You had think his memory might be satisfied. There you go sneering now. So here husband said the memory of our child, that is his child's memories satisfies them. But she said, I am not. Here again poem lines. You make me angry. I will come down to you. God, what a woman. And it's come to this. A man can't speak of his own child that's dead. You can't because you don't know how to speak. If you had any feelings, you that dug with your own hand, how could you, as little grave? I saw you from that very window there, and making the gravel leap and leap in air, leap up like that, and land so lightly, and roll back down the mount beside the hole. I thought, who's that man? I did not know you. And I crept down the stairs and up the stairs to look again, and still your spade kept lifting. Then you came in, I heard your rumbling voice out in the kitchen, and I don't know why, but I went near to see with my own eyes. You could sit there with the stains on your shoes of the fresh earth from your own baby's grave, and talk about your everyday concerns. You had stood the spade up against the wall outside there in the entry, for I saw it. I shall laugh the worst laugh I ever laughed. I am cursed. God, if I don't believe, I am cursed. Here the explanation. She asked her husband, without any feeling, how can you dug the graveyard for our little one? How could you? And after finished your work, you came inside the home without washing the stains from your shoes. The stains are from the fresh earth of your own baby's grave. And you left the spade outside the wall without any feeling. And after that, you have talking about that everyday concern. How it is possible for you? So, Here she is shocked when she sees her husband talking and behaving casually after buried their own son. He seems to be carefree and not bother about what will happen to the child's tender body. The husband felt that he is a cursed man in this world because he is hearing all these words from no one else but his own wife, so he considered himself as a cursed man in this world. Here again the poem lines. I can repeat the very words you are saying. 3 foggy mornings and 1 rainy day will rot the best birch fence a man can build. Think of it. Talk like that at such a time. How long it takes a birch to rot. To do with what was in the darkened parlor you couldn't care. So here the mother said that 3 foggy morning, 1 rainy day, it's enough to rotten our child's body. Then without any care, how can you behave like this? So she thought himself as a brutal man. Here again poem lines. The nearest friends can go with anyone to death. Comes so far short, they might as well not try go at all. No, from the time when one is sick to death. One is alone and he dies more alone. Friends make pretense of following to the grave. But before one is in it, their minds are turned and making the best of their way back to life. And living people and things they understand. But the world's evil, I won't have grief so. If I can change it, oh, I won't. Here the explanation. According to her, all are pretending in this world. And no one is sincere. So it is an evil world. For the name's sake, people are attending funerals of their close friends and relatives. But immediately they back to their regular life. So she wants to leave this insincere world. She could not like that other people. So she said, I won't. I could not get away from this grief like others. Again poem lines. There you have said it all and you feel better. You won't go now. You are crying. Close the door. The heart's gone out of it. Why keep it up? Emmy, there is someone coming down the road. You? Oh, you think the talk is all? I must go. Somewhere out of this house. How can I make you? If you do, she was opening the door wider. And where do you mean to go? First tell me that. I will follow and bring you back by force. I will. Here the explanation. As a farmer, the husband is more accepting the natural cycle of life and death in general, but also chooses to grieve in a more physical manner by digging the grave for his child. Ironically, the husband's expression of his grief is completely misunderstood by the wife. So she opens the door wider and he demands where she means to go, so that he may bring her back. Time is a good remedy for everything. It heals the wounds created by person and incidents. With this hope, one day or other day, he will bring her back to home. Here the poem starts with the fear of the wife and ends with the willpower of the husband. So here the husband requested her, don't go, this is not a right time because you are crying, so you please close the door. Like that he said, but she doesn't obey the words of her husband. And at last he asked, you tell me, before you leave this place, you tell me, where are you going? Because one day or other day I will bring you back by force. Definitely I will. Like that, the husband finished this poem. So, in conclusion of the poem, Robert Frost poems depicts the excellent human drama of realism and sentimentalism. So life is full of contrariness. In most of his poems, the men are realist and the women are sentimentalist. That is, men are practical and women are emotional. They follow their own ways of dealing with a crisis. One has to balance both these extremes to lead a fruitful life on the earth. Compromise must be the spirit of an ideal couple. The poet attempts to unfold the merciful, compassionate, and peace-loving nature of women. Women, being a creator, knows pains and pleasures of creation. On the contrary, a man is a realist. Man, being a criticizer, knows the fact and probability. His poems are dealing with justice and mercy. The most significant conflict is between intuitive and sensing characteristics. Contradictions are sometimes required to get a better communion. So it can be said that the contrariness in life is needed to build a harmonious and meaningful life. Thank you for this great opportunity.